The school principal called me at work. "Your daughter is in my office. She's been expelled. Come get her." I said, "I don't have a daughter." They just repeated, "Please come now." When I arrived and walked into the office, I froze. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. Sitting there crying was Melanie. But not the Melanie I knew, not the girl I raised, someone else, someone shaped behind my back. I'd been in the middle of a logistics meeting when my phone buzzed. Third quarter shipping routes, driver retention rates, the usual corporate song and dance. 26 years I'd spent behind the wheel of a semi, hauling freight across every interstate in this country. The last decade I'd worked my way up to management, overseeing the entire Eastern Corridor operation. I knew the system, I knew the roads, I knew people, or so I thought. The drive to Westfield Academy took 18 minutes. I kept the radio off. My hands were steady on the wheel, but something cold had settled in my chest, expelled. Melanie was 17, a senior, honor roll, volunteer work, the kind of kid who made parents beam at graduation ceremonies. The receptionist's smile was tight when I walked in. "Mr. Randall, Principal Kavanaugh is waiting." Jane Kavanaugh was 60, silver-haired, with eyes that had seen every variety of teenage nonsense and parental denial. She didn't offer coffee or small talk. She slid a manila folder across her desk. "Your daughter has been involved in a systematic harassment campaign against 3 other students. We have video evidence, text messages, and witness statements. She also forged several school documents, including an excused absence form that bears your signature." I opened the folder. The signature looked exactly like mine. The date was from 3 weeks ago, a Tuesday when I'd been in Pittsburgh reviewing a new distribution center. "I didn't sign this." "I know," Kavanaugh said. "The IP address traced back to your home network, but the timestamp was during school hours. Your daughter was in study hall." Melanie sat in the corner chair. Mascara streaked down her face. She looked up at me with those big eyes, the ones that used to make me melt when she was 6 and wanted ice cream before dinner. "Dad, they're lying. They hate me. They've always—" "Melanie." Kavanaugh's voice cut through the performance. "We've already had this conversation. Twice." I looked at my daughter. Really looked. The designer jacket she'd bought last month, the new phone, the car I'd helped her lease because she said she needed reliable transportation for college visits. "How long?" I asked Kavanaugh. "At least 6 months that we can document. Possibly longer." I flipped through the evidence. Screenshots of group chats. "Fat cow can't even fit through the door. Hope she tries something stupid tonight." A video of a girl crying in the bathroom while someone laughed off camera. The laugh sounded like Melanie's. "Mr. Randall, there's something else." Kavanaugh pulled out another document. "This is an appeal form requesting your daughter's records be sealed. It was submitted to the district office last week, also with your signature." I'd never seen it before. My phone buzzed. A text from Trevor, my son. "Dad, don't believe their lies. Mel called me. I'm coming." I hadn't told Trevor anything. I'd barely processed this myself. "Who called you?" I asked Melanie. She looked away. The office door opened. Trevor strode in like he owned the place. Expensive suit, hair gelled, that confident smile he wore like armor. 28 years old and already managing 3 fitness club locations. He'd always been ambitious and loud. "Principal Kavanaugh." He didn't look at me. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding, Mr. Randall. Your sister violated multiple school policies. She's being expelled effective immediately." "That's absurd. Melanie is a model student. If there were issues, why weren't we notified sooner?" "We notified your father 4 times over the past 2 months. He never responded." Trevor turned to me. "Is that true?" "I never got any notifications." "Well, that's convenient," Trevor said. His tone had changed, sharper. "Maybe if you paid attention to your family instead of your trucks, we wouldn't be here." The room went quiet. I'd heard that tone before, usually from his mother, my ex-wife Rebecca, the drip of contempt masked as concern. "Trevor," I said slowly, "I think you should wait outside." "I think I should stay. Someone needs to advocate for Mel since you clearly haven't been." Kavanaugh's expression didn't change, but I saw her hand move slightly toward her desk phone. "Mr. Randall," she said to Trevor, "you're not listed as a guardian. I'm going to have to ask you to step out." "I'm family. I have every right." "No," I said. "You don't." Trevor stared at me, really stared, and in that moment I saw something I'd been too tired or too trusting to notice before. Not concern, not love, something colder, calculating. He left, but not before squeezing Melanie's shoulder. "Don't worry," he told her. "We'll fix this." After the door closed, I turned back to Kavanaugh. "What happens now?" "She's expelled. The board will determine if they press charges for the forgeries. As for the harassment, the other families are considering civil action." "I'll handle it." "I hope so, Mr. Randall." She paused. "For what it's worth, I don't think you knew about any of this." Small comfort. I drove Melanie home in silence. She tried twice to explain, to spin some story about jealousy and misunderstandings. I didn't respond. My mind was replaying the last 6 months, looking for cracks I'd missed. Allison was waiting when we got home. My second wife, 5 years now. 50 years old, sharp as a razor, worked in administration at a law firm downtown. She took one look at Melanie's face and then at mine. "Kitchen," she said to me. "Now." I told her everything. She listened without interrupting, the way she always did when something serious was happening. When I finished, she pulled out her laptop. "When did you last check your bank accounts?" "I don't know. Last month?" "Check now." I logged in. Checking account looked normal. Savings account. I blinked. "That's wrong." "How wrong?" $12,000 wrong. Allison leaned over. Her finger traced the withdrawal history. There, and there, and there. Small amounts. 500. 800. Never more than 1,000 at a time. My hands had gone cold. "I didn't authorize these." "I know you didn't." She clicked to another screen. "Look at the dates." Every withdrawal corresponded with a day I'd been traveling for work. Pittsburgh, Charlotte, Memphis. Days when I wasn't home to check my phone or mail. "Someone has your banking credentials," Allison said. "Melanie?" "Maybe, but I doubt she's smart enough to do this alone." We sat there in my kitchen, our kitchen, while the November sunset bled red through the windows. I'd driven 2 million miles in my life. I'd crossed the country more times than I could count. I'd hauled everything from auto parts to live cattle. I knew routes and regulations and how to read a load sheet in the dark. But I didn't know my own kids were robbing me. "What do we do?" I asked. Allison closed the laptop. "First, we document everything. Then we figure out how deep this goes. And then..." She looked at me with those calm, calculating eyes. "Then you decide how far you're willing to go." I thought about Trevor's face in that office. The contempt. The calculation. "As far as it takes," I said. The next morning I called in sick for the first time in 4 years. Allison had already left for the law office, but she'd left a note on the counter. "Check your email. Password changed on all accounts. Don't tell anyone." I poured coffee and opened my laptop. New bank statements, going back 12 months. Allison had highlighted every suspicious transaction in yellow. There were 47. Total amount, $23,400. I sat there staring at the screen until the coffee went cold. My phone rang. Rebecca. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. On the 4th call, I answered. "Jackson." Her voice was smooth, controlled. The voice she used when she wanted something. "I heard about Melanie. We need to talk." "I'm busy." "This is about your daughter." "Is it, or is it about damage control?" Silence. Then, "I don't know what you mean." "Sure you don't." "Trevor told me you were hostile yesterday. He's concerned. We're all concerned." I almost laughed. "Rebecca, when's the last time you were concerned about anything that didn't affect your reputation?" "That's unfair." "Is it?" Another pause. I could hear her breathing, that careful, measured rhythm she used when she was deciding which strategy to deploy. "I think you're under a lot of stress," she finally said. "Managing a company, dealing with Melanie's situation. Maybe you should take some time off. We can help. Trevor and I have been talking, and..." "And what? You've been planning how to spin this?" "We've been planning how to support our family." "Our family. Not my family. Our." "I need to go," I said. "Jackson, wait." I hung up. 20 minutes later, Trevor texted, "We should meet. Coffee tomorrow?" I didn't respond. Then Melanie from upstairs. "Dad, can we talk?" I climbed the stairs. Her door was cracked open. She was sitting on her bed, laptop open, phone in her hand. When she saw me, she closed the laptop quickly. "What do you want to talk about?" I asked. "Yesterday. I know you're mad, but you don't understand what it's like at that school. Those girls, they..." "Stop." She blinked. "What?" "I've seen the evidence, Melanie, the videos, the texts. I know what you did." Her face changed. The victim mask slipped, just for a second, and I saw something else underneath. Something harder. "You don't know anything," she said quietly. "Then explain it to me." "Why?" You've already decided I'm guilty. Have I? She stood up, crossed her arms. In that posture, she looked exactly like Rebecca. Same defensive stance, same cold eyes. Trevor says you've been weird lately, paranoid. He thinks maybe you're having some kind of breakdown. Trevor says that. He's worried about you. Is he? We stared at each other. My daughter, my little girl who used to beg me for bedtime stories about the road, who used to draw pictures of trucks and mail them to me when I was on long hauls. When had she become this stranger? You forged my signature, I said. Multiple times. That's a crime, Melanie. You stole from my bank account. She went still. What are you talking about? $23,000. Over the past year, small withdrawals. You thought I wouldn't notice. I didn't. Don't lie to me. Her jaw tightened. I want to call Mom. Call her. She did, right there in front of me. Speaker on. Rebecca answered on the first ring. Honey, what's wrong? Dad's accusing me of stealing from him. He's being crazy. Put him on. Melanie held out the phone. I took it. Jackson, Rebecca said, what is going on? Ask your son. Better yet, ask your daughter's bank account. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sure you don't. If you're having financial problems, you can't take it out on the kids. That's not fair. Fair. I tasted the word. You want to talk about fair? I want to talk about reality. You've been distant, distracted. Trevor says you've been making mistakes at work, missing meetings. Now you're paranoid about money. Maybe you need to see someone. A therapist? A professional. Someone who can help. I looked at Melanie. She was watching me with that same calculating expression Trevor had worn yesterday. Tell me something, Rebecca. Did you coach them on how to do this? Do what? The signatures, the withdrawals, the timing. Did you teach them your playbook? The line went silent. Melanie grabbed her phone back. You're insane. Maybe, I said, but I'm not stupid. I went back downstairs. My hands were shaking. Not from anger, from something colder. Recognition. Allison had warned me once, years ago when we'd first started dating. Your ex-wife is a strategist, she'd said, and strategists play long games. I'd laughed it off. Rebecca and I had been done for years. Ancient history. But maybe history wasn't done with us. I opened my email. Buried in spam was a notification from my bank dated 3 months ago. Additional user added to account. I'd never added anyone. I called the bank. After 20 minutes on hold and 3 transfers, I reached someone who could pull the records. Yes, sir. I see it here. Account holder Trevor Randall was added on August 14th. Authorization was confirmed via your registered email address. I didn't authorize it. I'm sorry, sir, but our records show your records are wrong. Someone accessed my email and added him without my knowledge. That's fraud. I understand your concern. We'll need to open an investigation. That can take 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks? Yes, sir. In the meantime, I recommend changing all your passwords and monitoring your account closely. I hung up. August 14th. I'd been in Charlotte that week, overseeing a new automated sorting system installation. I'd barely checked my phone for 3 days. Allison came home around 6. I showed her everything. It's not just Melanie, I said. Trevor's been in my account for months. I know. You know? She pulled a folder from her bag. I did some digging at work. Called in a favor from one of our paralegals who used to work in financial crimes. Look at this. She spread papers across the kitchen table. Bank statements, credit card records, phone bills. Trevor has been accessing your credit cards too. Small charges, gas stations, restaurants. Nothing that would trigger fraud alerts. But look at the dates. Every charge was made on days when I'd been out of town. He's been tracking your schedule, Allison said. Probably through your work calendar. You keep that synced to your phone, right? I nodded. So he knows when you're traveling, when you can't check your accounts, when you're too busy to notice small discrepancies. How did he get my passwords? Keylogger, maybe. Or he just asked Melanie. She lives here. She could have watched you type them in. The coldness in my chest was spreading. They've been planning this. For a while, yes. Rebecca? Almost certainly. This is too organized, too careful. Trevor's ambitious but sloppy. Melanie's smart but impulsive. This has Rebecca's fingerprints all over it. I leaned back in my chair. Outside, the streetlights were coming on. Our neighborhood, quiet, suburban, safe. The kind of place where people mowed their lawns on Saturdays and waved to their neighbors. The kind of place where you didn't expect your own family to gut you. What would you do? I asked Allison. She didn't hesitate. I'd burn it all down. That's illegal. No. Burning it down is illegal. Exposing it isn't. You have evidence, you have timestamps, you have motive. You just need to decide how much you're willing to lose to make them lose more. I thought about Trevor's face, Melanie's coldness, Rebecca's smooth, practiced concern. Everything, I said. I'm willing to lose everything. Allison smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. Good, because they're going to try to take it anyway. She wasn't wrong. That night, while I was checking the locks before bed, my phone buzzed with an email. Subject line, Randall Family Reclamation Fund. I opened it. It was an account statement for a shared savings account I'd never heard of. Balance, $41,600. Account holders, a Trevor Randall, Melanie Randall, Rebecca Lawson. The deposits matched the withdrawals from my accounts. Every single one. At the bottom of the statement was a note, typed in italics. For the future, we were denied. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in my home office with the door closed, laptop screen glowing in the dark, going through everything line by line. Every transaction, every email, every login timestamp. Allison had taught me to think like a lawyer. Document everything, assume nothing, verify twice. By dawn, I had a timeline. It started 14 months ago. Small at first. $50 here, $100 there, then it escalated. Once they realized I wasn't checking, or once they thought I was too stupid to notice, they got bolder. The Randall Family Reclamation Fund had been opened 10 months ago. Rebecca's name on the account, but Trevor and Melanie had full access. The deposits were scheduled, automatic. Every time I got paid, a percentage disappeared. They'd been skimming me like a logistics company skims cargo weight. Just enough that the loss doesn't show up on initial reports, but over time it adds up to something substantial. Professional, calculated, patient, Rebecca's specialty. I made coffee around 6. Allison came downstairs 20 minutes later, already dressed for work. You look terrible, she said. Didn't sleep. Find anything new? I showed her the timeline. She studied it while drinking her coffee, her face unreadable. They've been careful, she finally said. No single transaction large enough to trigger automatic fraud alerts. They varied the amounts and timing. They even made a few deposits into your account, probably to throw off any pattern recognition. Can we prosecute? Maybe, but it'll be messy. Family court will get involved. Rebecca will cry abuse. Trevor will claim he had authorization. Melanie's a minor, so any charges against her get complicated. So they win. I didn't say that. She set down her mug. I said it'll be messy. But there are other ways to fight. Ways that don't involve police or lawyers. Like what? Like giving them exactly what they think they want, and then burning it from the inside. She left for work. I sat there thinking about her words. Give them what they want. What did they want? Money, obviously. But it was more than that. Rebecca had always been about control, about winning. She'd spent 17 years of our marriage keeping score, and when I'd finally left, she'd made sure to take everything she could in the proceedings. The house, the cars, half my pension. She'd convinced the kids that I'd abandoned them, that I'd chosen my job over my family, that I was the villain. And they'd believed her. Now they were finishing what she'd started, taking the rest, erasing me. My phone rang, unknown number. I answered. Mr. Randall, this is Karen Mitchell from Westfield Academy's legal department. We're following up on your daughter's expulsion. Go ahead. The families affected by your daughter's actions have retained counsel. They're pursuing civil damages. We wanted to inform you that you'll likely be receiving formal notification within the next week. How much? I'm not at liberty to say, but given the documented harassment and the emotional distress claims, it could be substantial. Understood. There's something else. She paused. Principal Kavanaugh wanted me to mention that we've received several calls from a woman claiming to be your representative, Rebecca Lawson. She's requesting copies of the disciplinary records and attempting to negotiate on your behalf. She's not my representative. That's what we thought. We haven't released any information, but she's been persistent. I'll handle it. After she hung up, I called Rebecca. She answered immediately. Jackson, I was hoping you'd call. Stay out of the school situation. I'm trying to help. Those families are being unreasonable. If we present a united front, we are not a united front. We're not anything. We have children together. That makes us something. Had, I said. Past tense. Don't be dramatic. I found the fund, Rebecca. Silence. Long and cold. I don't know what you're talking about. The Randall Family Reclamation Fund. Cute name? Very poetic. Was that your idea or Trevor's? Jackson. $41,000. My money. In an account with your name on it. That's not... I have the statements, timestamps, everything. I could hear her breathing, controlled, measured, calculating. You owe us that money, she finally said. We sacrificed years because of your choices, your career, your selfishness. This is just taking back what should have been ours all along. You got half of everything in the proceedings. What more do you want? Everything you took from us. Every missed birthday. Every empty promise. Every time you chose that truck over your family. I chose work so I could feed my family. You chose work because it was easier than dealing with us. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had used the road as an escape. But that didn't give them the right to steal from me. I want the money back, I said. All of it. By the end of the week. Rebecca laughed. Actually laughed. Or what? You'll call the police? File a report against your own children? Against me? Good luck with that, Jackson. No court is going to side with the absent father who suddenly cares about money when his daughter needs him most. Watch me. No, she said, her voice dropping to something colder. You watch, because this is just the beginning. We're done being ignored. We're done being second to your precious career, and we're going to take everything you have left. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, listening to the dial tone. Outside, the morning was bright and clear. Neighbors were leaving for work. School buses rolling down the street. Normal life continuing while mine fell apart. Allison was right. This wasn't about money. This was about destruction. Fine. I could work with that. I spent the next 3 days playing detective. Called in a few favors. I'd been in logistics for 30 years. You don't last that long without building a network. People who owe you, people who know people. First target, Colton Reed. Trevor's best friend, fitness influencer. 600,000 followers on social media. The guy who'd been reinforcing the dad is a loser narrative for years, convincing Trevor that old school work ethic was obsolete. He ran a fitness studio and sold online training programs. Big operation, lots of money moving around. I know people in commercial real estate. Made a few calls, found out Colton's studio lease was up for renewal next month. Found out his landlord was considering selling the building. Found out Colton had been running unauthorized supplement shipments through a warehouse that wasn't properly licensed. Small violations, the kind that get overlooked until someone makes a complaint. I made a complaint. Then I called an old friend who worked in health inspections. Mentioned I'd heard some concerning things about supplement storage at a certain fitness studio. Mentioned it would be a shame if contaminated product made people sick. He said he'd look into it. I also reached out to 3 brands Colton had partnerships with. Anonymous emails, screenshots of his private social media posts where he admitted the supplements he promoted were junk. Screenshots of him laughing about how gullible his followers were. All real. All documented. All stuff he'd posted on private accounts he thought were secure. By Friday afternoon, 2 brands had dropped him. By Friday evening, a health inspector was scheduled for his studio Monday morning. By Friday night, Trevor was calling me. What did you do? I don't know what you mean. Colton's brands dropped him. Someone's investigating his studio. This is you, isn't it? Why would I do that? Because you're petty. Because you can't handle the fact that we're done letting you control everything. I never controlled anything, Trevor. That was your mother's specialty. This isn't over. I know. He hung up before I could say anything else. Saturday morning, Melanie came downstairs while I was making breakfast. She looked exhausted. Her phone kept buzzing. Bad night? I asked. Everyone knows. About the expulsion. Someone leaked it to social media. That's unfortunate. She stared at me. Did you do that? Why would I? Because you hate me. I set down the spatula. I don't hate you, Melanie, but I'm not going to protect you from consequences anymore. Mom says you're trying to destroy us. Mom says a lot of things. She says you've always been jealous of our relationship with her, that you couldn't stand that we chose her. Did you choose her, or did she choose for you? Melanie's jaw tightened. You don't get it. You never got it. We needed her. She was there. You weren't. I was working. You were hiding. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had been hiding. But even if that was true, it didn't justify what they'd done. The money, I said. In the fund, I want it back. It's ours. It's mine. Mom says we earned it for putting up with you all these years. Melanie, that's theft, she shrugged. Prove it. Then she walked out. I stood there in my kitchen, spatula in hand, eggs burning on the stove. My daughter had just confessed to stealing from me and dared me to do something about it. Allison was right. This wasn't about money. This was about power. and I was done giving them mine. By Monday morning, Colton's world was unraveling. The health inspection flagged his supplement storage, unlicensed products, improper temperature control, potential contamination risk. His studio was shut down pending investigation. His social media erupted. Angry followers demanding refunds, canceled subscriptions, the remaining brand partnerships pulling out. Trevor called me 6 times. I didn't answer. He showed up at my house Tuesday evening. Allison opened the door. He's not interested in talking to you. I'm his son. You're a thief, she said calmly, and you're not welcome here. Trevor tried to push past her. I appeared behind Allison. Don't, I said. You destroyed Colton. You cost him everything. Why? Because he's my friend? Because he's part of the problem. What problem? You, Melanie, Rebecca, the whole operation you've been running against me. Trevor laughed, bitter and sharp. Operation? You think this is some conspiracy? You're paranoid, old man. Am I? Then explain the fund. Explain the withdrawals. Explain how you got added to my bank account without my authorization. His face changed. Just for a second. Caught. That was a misunderstanding. No, that was fraud. Electronic fraud. Identity theft. Pick your felony. You're my father. What's yours is mine, I finished. What's mine is mine. Not yours, not Rebecca's. Mine. We needed that money. For what? Your gym memberships, your luxury apartment, your influencer friend's failing business. For everything you never gave us. I gave you everything I had. You gave us scraps, Trevor said. His voice was rising now, losing control. You gave us whatever was left after your precious job, after your routes and schedules and corporate meetings. We were always second. So you decided to rob me? We decided to take what we deserved. There it was, the truth, raw and ugly. Get out, I said. This isn't over. Mom's getting a lawyer, a real one. We're going to prove you're unfit, mentally unstable. We're going to have you removed from your position at work, from your accounts, from everything. You can try. We will, and when we're done, you'll have nothing, just like you left us with nothing. Allison stepped forward. Leave, now, or I call the police. Trevor looked at both of us. His face was twisted with something I'd never seen before, pure hatred. You're going to regret this, he said to me. Then to Allison. And you. You're not his wife. You're just the replacement he bought after he abandoned his real family. He left. The door slammed hard enough to rattle the frame. Allison turned to me. They're escalating. I know. They'll come at you from every angle now. Work, finances, mental health. They'll try to paint you as unstable. Let them try. Jackson, this is serious. If they get a psychiatric evaluation ordered, they won't, because I'm going to move first. She studied my face. What are you planning? Trevor works for a corporate fitness chain. They have strict compliance policies, ethics rules. Any hint of financial impropriety? You're going after his job. I'm letting his actions speak for themselves. The next morning, I made 3 calls. First, to the corporate headquarters of Trevor's employer, anonymous tip about an employee using company resources for personal financial schemes. I didn't have to lie. I had documented proof that Trevor had used his work computer to access my bank accounts. The login timestamps matched his office hours. Second call to the Better Business Bureau. Filed a complaint about the Randall Family Reclamation Fund, an unlicensed financial entity collecting money under false pretenses. Third call to my own company's legal department. Reported that my personal financial information had been compromised, possibly through my work accounts. Requested a full security audit. By Wednesday, Trevor was suspended from work pending investigation. By Thursday, he was at my door again, this time with Melanie and Rebecca. I didn't open the door, just watched through the window as they stood on my porch, arguing among themselves. Rebecca was calm, controlled. Trevor was pacing. Melanie was crying. My phone buzzed. Rebecca. Let us in, Jackson. We need to talk. No. Your son is about to lose his job because of you. My son committed fraud. The consequences are his, not mine. You're destroying this family. You did that 17 years ago, Rebecca. I'm just finishing what you started. If you don't stop this, we'll have no choice but to take legal action. I look forward to it. Discovery should be interesting. Silence on the line. Then, what do you want? I want my money back. Every cent. I want written confessions from all 3 of you. and I want you to stay out of my life, forever. That's not going to happen. Then neither is this conversation. I hung up, watched them through the window for another 10 minutes. Finally, they left. Allison came home that evening with news. One of the families from Melanie's school filed their lawsuit today. They're suing for $75,000 in damages. Can they win? Probably. The evidence is strong. Documented harassment, emotional distress. Melanie's expulsion supports their case. Good. She looked at me. You're really going to let them bury themselves, aren't you? I'm not letting them do anything. I'm just not stopping them anymore. There's a difference between not stopping them and actively destroying them. Is there? Jackson, they stole from me, Allison. They forged my signature. They've been systematically draining my accounts for over a year. They're trying to have me declared mentally unfit so they can take everything. At what point do I get to fight back? You are fighting back. I'm just worried about how far you're willing to go. As far as it takes. She nodded slowly. Then you need to see this. She pulled out her phone, showed me an email. It was from Rebecca's lawyer, a formal demand letter. They were claiming that I owed the family compensation for years of emotional neglect and abandonment. They wanted $200,000. They're insane, I said. No, they're desperate. You've backed them into a corner. Now they're trying to hit you with everything they have. Let them. There's more. She scrolled down. They've filed a petition with the court. They want a psychiatric evaluation. They're claiming you're exhibiting signs of paranoid delusion and erratic behavior. They have statements from Trevor, Melanie, and Rebecca. They even have a statement from Colton claiming you've been harassing him. I read through the document. It was thorough, detailed. Every conversation I'd had with them over the past 2 weeks twisted and reframed to make me look unhinged. Can they force an evaluation? If a judge agrees there's cause, yes. When's the hearing? Next Tuesday. 4 days. I looked at Allison. How do we fight this? We don't fight it. We turn it around. We show the judge exactly what they've been doing. The theft, the fraud, the manipulation. We make them defend themselves instead of attacking you. You think that'll work? I think you need a lawyer. A good one. Someone who specializes in family court and financial crimes. You know someone? She smiled. I know exactly someone. The lawyer's name was Patricia Moss. 63 years old, steel gray hair, eyes like a hawk. She'd spent 40 years in family court and had a reputation for taking complicated cases and turning them inside out. We met in her office Thursday afternoon. I brought everything, bank statements, email logs, screenshots, the timeline, the fund documents, everything I'd compiled over the past 2 weeks. She reviewed it all in silence. When she finished, she looked up at me. They're idiots. Excuse me? Your ex-wife and children. They're idiots. They documented everything, every transaction, every transfer. They kept records of their own fraud. This is a prosecutor's dream. So we can win? Win? She laughed. Mr. Randall, we can destroy them. But first, we need to deal with this psychiatric evaluation petition. That's their opening move. If they can get you declared unstable, everything else becomes harder to fight. How do we stop it? We don't. We welcome it. We request an evaluation for all parties involved. If they want to question your mental state, we question theirs. We bring in their financial crimes, their coordinated fraud, their manipulation. We paint them as the unstable ones. Will that work? Depends on the judge, but it shifts the battlefield. Right now, they think they're attacking. We make them realize they're defending. What do I need to do? Nothing. Let me handle the legal side. You focus on the rest. The rest? Mr. Randall, you've already started dismantling their support system. The friend, the son's job. Keep going. By the time we get to court, I want them isolated, desperate, and out of options. I left her office feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. That night, I focused on Melanie. Her social media presence was her armor, her identity, the carefully curated image of the perfect girl, smart, kind, popular. I'd already documented her real behavior, the bullying, the harassment, the videos, but I hadn't shared it publicly. Yet, I created an anonymous account, posted the evidence on the platforms where she was most active, not all of it, just enough. Screenshots of her messages, one of the videos, a timeline of her actions toward the 3 girls she'd tormented. No commentary, no accusations, just facts. Within 6 hours, it had been shared 200 times. Within 12 hours, her reputation was gone. Her phone started ringing Friday morning. I could hear it from downstairs. She was crying, screaming at someone, probably Rebecca. Allison came down for coffee. You posted the evidence. Someone did. Jackson. They wanted to play with reputation. Fine, let's play. This is going to make them more aggressive. I'm counting on it. Angry people make mistakes. By Friday afternoon, the story had reached the local news. Westfield Academy expulsion linked to cyberbullying campaign. They didn't name Melanie. She was a minor, but everyone knew. The community knew. Her friends knew. Her school knew. Trevor called. I answered this time. You're ending her life. She did that herself. She's 17. She made mistakes. You're an adult. You're supposed to protect her. I protected her for 17 years, Trevor. Fed her, clothed her, paid for everything, and she repaid me by stealing and lying. So no, I'm done protecting her from consequences. Mom's right. You are broken. Maybe, but at least I'm not a thief. He hung up. Saturday, I focused on Rebecca. Her public image was her power. President of the Community Outreach Committee, volunteer coordinator, the sympathetic single mother who'd raised 2 kids while their father was absent. But I knew the truth. I'd always known. I reached out to 2 women I'd met during the proceedings. Rebecca's former friends, women she'd cut off when they'd questioned her version of events. They were happy to talk. One had emails from Rebecca, strategies for maximizing settlement outcomes, tips on building sympathy with the court, advice on leveraging children's emotions for financial gain. The other had recorded phone calls, Rebecca's real voice, angry, calculating, discussing how to bleed Jackson dry and make him pay for leaving. I gave everything to Patricia. This is gold, she said. Pure gold. Can we use it in court? If you need to. Oh, I'm going to need to. Sunday evening, Rebecca called. Her voice was different, shaky, uncertain. Jackson, we need to talk. Really talk. Not fighting, not lawyers, just us. There is no us, Rebecca. There are our children. They're falling apart. Trevor's going to lose his job. Melanie's been completely ostracized. This has to stop. You're right, it does. Return my money. Confess to the fraud. Accept responsibility. We can't do that. Then it doesn't stop. Please, I'm begging you. Whatever you think we did, I don't think. I know. I have evidence, timestamps, recordings, everything. Silence. Then, you're recording us? Not me. Other people. People you treated badly. People who remembered. That's not fair. I almost laughed. Fair? You stole from me for over a year. You turned my children against me. You're trying to have me declared mentally unfit, and you want to talk about fair? I did what I had to do. So am I. If you don't stop, You'll what? Sue me? You're already doing that. Destroy my reputation? I don't have one to destroy. Take my children? They already chose you. So tell me, Rebecca, what exactly are you going to do that you haven't already done? She didn't answer, just hung up. Monday morning, Patricia called. The hearing's tomorrow. Are you ready? Yes. Good. Because they're bringing everything. They've lined up 3 witnesses, Trevor, Melanie, Rebecca. They're going to paint you as paranoid, vindictive, and unstable. And we're going to show them for what they are. Exactly. See you at the courthouse. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in my office, reviewing everything one more time, making sure I hadn't missed anything. Allison came in around midnight. You should rest. Can't. Jackson, you've done everything you can. Now you have to trust the process. I don't trust processes. I trust evidence. Then trust that you have enough. She was right. I had more than enough. The question wasn't whether I'd win. The question was what would be left when it was over. Tuesday morning arrived cold and gray. Perfect weather for what was coming. The courthouse was 40 minutes away. Allison drove. I spent the trip staring out the window, watching the city slide past. Gray buildings, gray sky, gray concrete. Patricia met us in the lobby. She was wearing a dark suit, carrying 2 briefcases. They're here, she said. Conference room B. Rebecca brought additional counsel. How many? 2 more lawyers. She's taking this seriously. Good. We walked through security, up 2 floors, down a long hallway with fluorescent lights and worn carpet, the kind of place where families came to fall apart officially. Conference room B was at the end. Through the glass door, I could see them. Rebecca sitting straight and composed, Trevor beside her in a suit, Melanie looking small and young. 3 lawyers spread around the table. Patricia opened the door. Good morning. Rebecca's lead attorney stood. His name was Gerald Hampton. Expensive suit, expensive watch. the kind of lawyer you hired when you wanted to win at any cost. Ms. Moss, I trust you've reviewed our petition? I have. It's creative. I'll give you that. It's thorough. We have substantial evidence that Mr. Randall is experiencing a mental health crisis. His recent behavior has been erratic, vindictive, and potentially dangerous. Dangerous? Patricia set her briefcases on the table. That's an interesting word. Let's discuss what's actually dangerous. Identity theft, bank fraud, forgery, coordinated financial manipulation. Hampton didn't flinch. My clients deny those allegations. Of course they do. Fortunately, denial isn't a defense. Evidence is. She opened her first briefcase, pulled out a thick folder, set it in the center of the table. This is a complete record of unauthorized access to Mr. Randall's financial accounts over the past 14 months, including login times, IP addresses, and device identifiers, all of which trace back to Trevor Randall's personal devices. Trevor's face went pale. This, she opened the second briefcase, is documentation of the Randall Family Reclamation Fund, an unlicensed financial account used to collect and distribute stolen money. Account holders, Rebecca Lawson, Trevor Randall, and Melanie Randall. Rebecca's lawyer leaned forward. Those funds were collected as compensation for nothing, Patricia cut him off. You can't compensate yourself by stealing. That's not how the law works. We're prepared to argue emotional damages. And we're prepared to argue criminal charges. Wire fraud, identity theft, conspiracy. Shall I continue? The room went silent. Hampton recovered first. These allegations are designed to distract from the core issue, Mr. Randall's mental state. Then let's discuss mental state, Patricia said. Your petition claims Mr. Randall is exhibiting paranoid delusions, yet every accusation he's made is supported by documented evidence. That's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition. He's destroyed his son's career out of spite. He reported criminal activity. There's a difference. He's publicly humiliated his daughter. He posted evidence of harassment and bullying. The school already expelled her for those actions. He didn't create the problem. He documented it. Hampton was getting frustrated. I could see it in the tightness around his eyes. Mr. Randall has demonstrated a clear pattern of vindictive behavior. Mr. Randall has demonstrated a clear pattern of defending himself against organized theft, which brings us to our counter-petition. Patricia pulled out another document. We're requesting a full psychiatric evaluation of all parties. If you want to question Mr. Randall's mental state, we'll question yours. That's absurd. Is it? Let's examine the behavior in question. Rebecca Lawson coordinated a multi-year financial fraud scheme against her ex-husband. She coached her children to steal. She manipulated records and signatures. She built a false narrative to justify theft. Does that sound like stable, rational behavior to you? Rebecca finally spoke. Her voice was ice. I did what I had to do to protect my children. From what? Patricia asked. From their father paying for their education, their housing, their cars. What exactly were they in danger of? From being abandoned, from being ignored. Mrs. Lawson, your ex-husband worked as a truck driver for 26 years and a logistics manager for 10. He traveled for work. That's not abandonment. That's employment. He chose that job over us. No, you chose to frame his absence that way. There's a difference. The judge arrived before Hampton could respond. Her name was Margaret Thornton, 72 years old. She'd been on the bench for 30 years and had a reputation for seeing through performances. We all stood. Sit, she said. No pleasantries, no warmth, just business. She reviewed the petitions in silence. 5 minutes passed. 10. Finally, she looked up. This is a mess. Nobody responded. Let me see if I understand. The petitioners are requesting a psychiatric evaluation for Mr. Randall based on claims of erratic and vindictive behavior. The respondent has provided evidence of financial fraud committed by the petitioners, and now both sides want psychiatric evaluations for everyone involved. That's correct, Your Honor, Patricia said. Judge Thornton looked at Hampton. Counselor, are your clients aware that if we order comprehensive evaluations, everything becomes discoverable? Financial records, communications, personal histories, everything. We're prepared for that, Your Honor. Are you? She looked at Rebecca. Mrs. Lawson, you're comfortable with a full investigation into your finances and communications? Rebecca hesitated, just for a second, but the judge caught it. I have nothing to hide, Rebecca said. Then you won't mind if we subpoena your bank records, email accounts, phone records, text messages, all communications with your children regarding your ex-husband. The color drained from Rebecca's face. Judge Thornton turned to me. Mr. Randall, how do you respond to the allegation that you're experiencing a mental health crisis? I stood. Your Honor, I'm not having a crisis. I'm having a reckoning. For over a year, my family has been stealing from me. They forged my signature. They accessed my accounts without authorization. They built a fund with my stolen money. When I discovered it and demanded accountability, they tried to paint me as unstable. I'm not unstable. I'm done being a victim. The judge studied my face. You have evidence to support these claims? Yes, Your Honor, extensive evidence. And you're willing to pursue criminal charges if necessary? If that's what it takes. She nodded slowly, then looked at Trevor. Mr. Randall, did you access your father's bank accounts without authorization? Trevor glanced at his lawyer. Hampton nodded. I was added as an authorized user, Trevor said. By whom? I assumed by my father. You assumed? The authorization came through. You thought you'd help yourself to his money? I thought I was entitled to it. Based on what? Based on everything he owed us. Judge Thornton leaned back. Let me be clear. Legal debt and emotional debt are not the same thing. If your father owed you money from a legal judgment or agreement, you pursue it through proper channels. You don't hack into his accounts and take it. I didn't hack. You accessed accounts you weren't authorized to access. In criminal law, we call that theft. Doesn't matter if you're family. She turned to Melanie. Miss Randall, did you forge your father's signature? Melanie looked at her mother. Rebecca's face was stone. Answer the question, the judge said. I needed his signature for school forms. He wasn't available, so you forged it. It was just school forms. Was it? The judge looked at Patricia. Counselor, how many forged documents are we talking about? At least 8, Your Honor. School forms, bank authorizations, legal waivers. 8. The judge looked back at Melanie. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. Tears were streaming down Melanie's face now. I'm sorry. I didn't think. No, you didn't think. Or you thought you wouldn't get caught. Judge Thornton closed the files. Here's what's going to happen. I'm ordering financial forensic audits for all parties. I want every account examined, every transaction traced. I'm also ordering a temporary freeze on the so-called Reclamation Fund pending investigation. Your Honor, Hampton started. I'm not finished. Her voice cut through the room. I'm denying the petition for psychiatric evaluation of Mr. Randall. The evidence presented suggests rational response to criminal activity, not mental instability. However, I am ordering family counseling for all parties, to be completed before any further legal action. Your Honor, Patricia said, my client has no interest in counseling with people who've been stealing from him. Then he has no interest in a favorable ruling. Counseling is mandatory. 4 sessions. If anyone refuses, I'll assume they're not operating in good faith. She stood. We'll reconvene in 30 days. By then, I expect full financial audits, completed counseling sessions, and a clear plan for resolution. Understood? We all nodded. Dismissed? She left. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then Rebecca stood. She looked at me with something I hadn't seen before. Not anger, not calculation, fear. This isn't over, she said quietly. No, I agreed. It's not. They filed out. Trevor wouldn't meet my eyes. Melanie was still crying. Rebecca walked like she was going to her own execution. Patricia turned to me. That went well. Did it? Better than expected. The judge is on your side. She saw through their performance immediately. What about the counseling? We attend. We document everything they say. We use it in the final hearing. And the audits? Those will take 2 weeks, maybe 3, but when they come back, they'll confirm everything we already know. After that, we move to criminal charges if they don't settle. I nodded. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from relief. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. We still have 30 days of warfare ahead of us. She was right, but for the first time in weeks, I felt like I might actually survive this. The first counseling session was scheduled for Thursday, some office in a strip mall between a nail salon and a tax preparation service. The counselor's name was Dr. Raymond Shaw, 60 years old, professional mediator. The kind of person who'd heard every family horror story imaginable. I arrived 15 minutes early. Allison had wanted to come, but the judge had specified immediate family only. So I sat in my truck in the parking lot watching the door. Rebecca arrived 10 minutes early, alone. She didn't look at my truck, but I knew she saw it. She walked straight in, back rigid, head high. Trevor showed up 5 minutes late, driving too fast, parking crooked. Melanie came with Rebecca. They'd driven separately but arrived at the same time, coordinated. I waited until exactly 11 o'clock before going in. The office was small, beige walls, cheap furniture, motivational posters about communication and understanding. Dr. Shaw sat behind a desk that had seen better decades. "Mr. Randall, please, sit." There was only one empty chair, between Trevor and Melanie. Perfect. I sat. Dr. Shaw looked at each of us in turn. "I've reviewed the court documents. I understand this situation is complicated and emotionally charged. My role here isn't to determine who's right or wrong. It's to facilitate communication and help you find a path forward." "There is no path forward," Trevor said immediately. "Not with him?" "Why is that?" Dr. Shaw asked calmly. "Because he's trying to destroy us. He's ruined my career. He's humiliated my sister. He's attacking my mother. All because he can't handle the fact that we don't need him anymore." Dr. Shaw made a note, then looked at me. "Mr. Randall, how do you respond to that?" "I'm not destroying them. I'm defending myself against theft and fraud." "That's his narrative," Rebecca said. "His version of events. He's reframed normal family financial support into criminal activity." "Normal family support?" I turned to her. "You opened a secret account. You took $23,000 from my accounts without permission. You coached our children to forge my signature and steal from me. That's not support. That's organized crime. You owed us that money." "Based on what?" "Based on 17 years of abandonment, of choosing your job over your family, of making us fight for every scrap of attention?" Dr. Shaw held up a hand. "Let's pause there. Mrs. Lawson, you feel Mr. Randall abandoned the family?" "I don't feel it. I know it. He was gone more than he was home. When he was home, he was thinking about the road. We were always second." "Mr. Randall?" "I worked," I said simply. "I drove trucks because it paid well, because it supported the family, because Rebecca wanted a certain lifestyle and someone had to fund it." "That's not fair," she said. "Isn't it? You wanted the house, the cars, private school for the kids, vacations, all of that costs money. So I worked. Long hours, long trips. I did what I had to do." "You did what you wanted to do," Trevor said. "Don't pretend it was for us. You loved that truck more than you loved your family." I looked at my son, really looked at him. He believed it, every word. Rebecca had spent years building that narrative, and he'd internalized it completely. "Trevor, I worked 70-hour weeks so you could go to college without loans, so you could have a car at 16, so you could live in an apartment instead of a dorm. I missed birthdays and holidays because I was working to give you the life your mother demanded. Nobody demanded anything. You chose that life." "Did I? Or did I choose to keep my family fed and comfortable?" Dr. Shaw interrupted. "I'm hearing a fundamental disagreement about motivation and sacrifice. Mr. Randall believes he was providing for the family. Mrs. Lawson and Trevor believe he was avoiding the family. Is that accurate?" "Yes," Rebecca said. "And Melanie, what's your perspective?" Melanie had been silent until now. She looked up, eyes red. "I don't remember him being around much," she said quietly. "When I was little, he was just gone. Mom said he had to work, but other dads worked and still came home. I thought there was something wrong with us, like we weren't worth coming home for." The words hit harder than I expected, because there was truth in them. I had been gone, a lot, and maybe I had used work as an escape sometimes. "Melanie," I said, "I was working so you could have opportunities, so you could go to good schools, so you wouldn't have to worry about money. But I would have traded all of that to have a dad who was actually there." Silence filled the room. Dr. Shaw leaned forward. "This is the core issue, not the money, not the theft, the feeling of abandonment, of not being prioritized." "But that doesn't justify what they did," I said. "Feeling hurt doesn't give you the right to commit fraud." "No, it doesn't," Dr. Shaw agreed. "But understanding the motivation helps explain the behavior. Mrs. Lawson, Trevor, Melanie, you all felt owed something that wasn't financial, but when you couldn't get that, you took the financial instead." "We took what was owed to us," Rebecca said. "You took what was his," Dr. Shaw corrected. "There's a difference. Mr. Randall, I'm curious. When you discovered the theft, what was your first emotion?" "Betrayal." "Not anger." "That came later. First was betrayal. These were my children, my family, and they'd been plotting against me for over a year." "And that betrayal motivated your response. The exposure of Colton, the reports that cost Trevor his job, the public release of Melanie's school records. They motivated my defense." Yes. It feels like offense to them. Maybe, but I'm not the one who started this. No, Dr. Shaw said. But you escalated it. And now we're here. 4 people who used to be a family sitting in a counselor's office preparing for legal war. We stopped being a family when they started stealing from me, I said. Did you? Dr. Shaw looked at each of us. Or did you stop being a family long before that, and the theft was just the symptom? Nobody answered. The session ended at noon. We filed out in silence. In the parking lot, Trevor caught up to me. You're really not going to stop, are you? Not until I get my money back and an admission of what you did. Then you're not going to stop, because we're not giving you either. Then we'll let the courts decide. The courts won't give you what you really want, he said. They can't make us love you. They can't make us respect you. They can't undo 17 years of you choosing work over us. No, but they can hold you accountable for theft. He walked away. Melanie was waiting by Rebecca's car. She looked at me once, just once, and in that look, I saw something that broke through all the anger and resentment. She looked lost. For just a moment, I wanted to go to her and to tell her it would be okay to be her father instead of her opponent, but then she got in the car and Rebecca drove away and the moment passed. The second counseling session was worse. Trevor came ready for war. He brought printed documents, a timeline of every missed birthday, every canceled plan, every broken promise from my years on the road. 37 missed birthdays combined between Melanie and me, he said. 14 Christmases where you called from a truck stop instead of being home, 9 school events you promised to attend and didn't. Dr. Shaw examined the timeline. This is detailed. We've been keeping track, Rebecca said, for years. Every disappointment, every time he chose that job over his children. I looked at the timeline. Some of the dates were accurate, some weren't, but enough were true that I couldn't deny it completely. I missed events, I said. I was working. Sometimes the timing didn't line up. Sometimes there were emergencies. There's always an excuse, Trevor said. Always a reason why the job came first. The job paid for your life. The job was your life. We were just the people you sent money to. Dr. Shaw intervened. Trevor, I hear your pain. It's real and valid. But pain doesn't justify theft. Mr. Randall, being right legally doesn't erase being absent emotionally. Both things can be true. So what? I asked. We acknowledge we both failed, shake hands, and pretend the theft didn't happen? No, we acknowledge the full truth. You were absent. They were hurt. That hurt turned into resentment. That resentment turned into justification for theft. The theft turned into your retaliation, and now we're in a cycle of mutual destruction. How do we stop it? Melanie asked quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. How do we just stop? She asked again. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of feeling like I have to choose between hating my father and hating myself. Rebecca reached for her hand. Honey. No, Mom. Melanie pulled away. I'm tired of your voice in my head, too. Always telling me what Dad did wrong. Always reminding me how he failed us. Maybe he did, but maybe we failed him, too. Melanie, Trevor said, warning in his voice. I forged his signature, Trevor, 8 times. I helped you steal from him. And why? Because Mom said it was justified? Because you said he owed us? Your father abandoned us, Rebecca said, her voice hardening. He worked. There's a difference. Melanie, you don't understand. I understand that I'm 17 and I'm probably going to be prosecuted for fraud. I understand that my life is over because I believed you when you said taking his money was okay. I'm tired of being angry, Mom. I don't want to be like you. The room went silent. Rebecca stood. We're done here. Sit down, Mrs. Lawson, Dr. Shaw said firmly. I will not sit here and listen to my daughter. Your daughter is expressing her feelings. That's the point of these sessions. Sit down. Rebecca sat slowly, reluctantly. Dr. Shaw looked at Melanie. What do you want, Melanie? If you could have any outcome from this situation, what would it be? I want it to stop, she whispered. I want to give him the money back. I want to apologize. I want to not hate him anymore. You don't hate him, Rebecca said. You're confused. I do hate him, Melanie said. I've hated him for years, because you taught me to, but I'm tired of it. It's eating me alive, Mom. I just want it to stop. I looked at my daughter. She was 17, still a kid, and she'd been weaponized by her mother for years. Melanie, I said carefully, if you want to return the money, I'll accept it. If you want to apologize, I'll listen. But you need to understand something. Your mother and Trevor aren't going to stop. If you step off this path, you step off alone. I know. And they'll make you pay for it. I know that too. Rebecca stood again. We're leaving, now. No, Melanie said. You're leaving. I'm staying. Melanie. Go, Mom. I mean it. Go. Rebecca looked at Trevor. He stood reluctantly. This is a mistake, Rebecca said. You're going to regret this. Maybe, but at least it'll be my mistake, not yours. They left. The door closed with a sharp click. Dr. Shaw looked at us. Well, that was unexpected. What happens now? I asked. Now we talk. Just the three of us. And we figure out what comes next. The financial audits came back 2 weeks later. Patricia called me at work. It's worse than we thought. The total stolen is $31,000, not $23,000. They were hiding additional transfers. Can we prosecute? Yes. The evidence is airtight. Trevor violated his employment contract. Melanie's forgeries constitute identity theft. Rebecca coordinated everything. What about Melanie's offer to return her portion? She's returned $6,000 so far. It helps her case, but doesn't eliminate criminal liability. The prosecutor might reduce charges given her cooperation. And Trevor and Rebecca? They're still claiming the money was owed to them. It's not holding up. So we move forward with criminal charges? Patricia paused. We can. But Jackson, this becomes public. Very public. Your entire family history gets examined. The media will get involved. What if we offer one more settlement? Full repayment. Written confessions. Agreement to stay out of my life. If they refuse, we prosecute. They'll refuse. Maybe, but at least I'll know I tried. When Patricia sent the settlement offer, Rebecca's response came within 3 hours. Absolutely not. We will not confess to crimes we didn't commit. We will see him in court. Trevor's response was shorter. Go to the devil. We filed criminal charges on Monday. Wire fraud, identity theft, conspiracy. The police showed up at Rebecca's house Tuesday morning. Melanie called me, crying. They arrested Mom and Trevor with handcuffs. The neighbors saw. I'm sorry you had to see that. Are you, or is this what you wanted? Melanie, I gave them a chance to settle. They refused. You wanted revenge? Maybe she was right, but it was also justice. What happens to me? She asked. You're cooperating. Your charges will probably be reduced. Probation, community service, but no jail time. And them? That depends on what they do next. She hung up. The media found the story. Family drama turns criminal, ex-wife and children accused of fraud. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Allison fielded most of it. No comment. Trevor's employer terminated him. Colton's studio never reopened. Rebecca lost her position on the Community Outreach Committee. Everything was falling apart for them. The third counseling session was just Melanie and me. Trevor and Rebecca refused to attend. How are you holding up? Dr. Shaw asked her. Mom won't talk to me. Trevor says I'm a traitor. Dad's the only one speaking to me, and I'm not even sure why. Why do you think he's speaking to you? Maybe because I'm the only one who admitted I was wrong? Is that why? Dr. Shaw looked at me. Partly, I said, but also because she's 17. She made mistakes, but she was being manipulated. Do you forgive her? I'm working on it. What do you need from your father? Dr. Shaw asked Melanie. I need to know he doesn't hate me. I don't hate you, I said immediately, but you don't trust me. Not yet, but trust can be rebuilt. What happens after the trial? I don't know. Will you want anything to do with me? I want to, I said, but it won't be easy. Your mother and brother are going to fight this until the end. I'm tired of being on the wrong side, even if it means losing them. The preliminary hearing arrived on a cold December morning. Cameras everywhere. I kept walking. Patricia beside me, Allison behind. Rebecca and Trevor sat on one side with their lawyers. I sat on the other. Melanie was listed as a witness for the prosecution. The prosecutor presented evidence, bank records, email chains. The timeline of thefts laid out precisely. When Melanie testified, she described everything. Every conversation, every planning session, every moment Rebecca had coached them, how Trevor set up unauthorized access, how Rebecca created the fund. By the time she finished, Rebecca was pale. Trevor stared at the table. The judge called a recess. That night, Patricia called. They're offering full restitution plus $20,000. Probation, no jail time. No. Jackson. They wanted war. No mercy now. If we push for maximum charges, this goes to trial. Months. Expensive. Then we take that chance. The next morning, I delivered my answer in court. No plea deal. We proceed to trial. Rebecca's face twisted with rage. Trevor looked sick. Trial date is January 15th, Judge Thornton said. As we left, Trevor caught up to me. You're really going to send us to prison. You sent yourselves. We're your family. You were my family. You stopped being that when you started treating me like a mark. I hope destroying us makes you feel like a big man. It doesn't make me feel anything, Trevor. I just feel done. Security moved in. They escorted him out. Rebecca followed without looking back. The trial began January 15th. It lasted 3 weeks. Every day, more evidence, more testimony. Trevor tried to maintain innocence. Rebecca tried to play victim. The documentation destroyed them both. On February 5th, the jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty. All counts. Both defendants. In the hallway afterward, Rebecca caught my eye. For just a moment, I saw exhaustion in her face. Then she turned and walked away. Trevor followed. I watched them disappear, my ex-wife, my son, both heading toward prison. You won, Patricia said quietly. Yeah. How does it feel? Like I lost everything I wanted and won everything I never wanted to fight for. We walked out. The winter sun was bright. I stood on the steps looking at the city. Somewhere Melanie was rebuilding her life. Somewhere Trevor and Rebecca faced consequences. And here I was, vindicated, victorious, alone, but free.